Let's get this straight. The British Broadcasting Corporation, a taxpayer-funded behemoth that prides itself on fearless journalism, has issued a formal apology because one of its presenters dared to refer to Catherine, Princess of Wales, as Kate Middleton during live coverage of the Armistice Day ceremony. Yes, you read that correctly. They used the name she has answered to for the first 30 years of her life, the name on her birth certificate, her university degree, her passport before marriage, the name the entire world still uses, and suddenly the sky is falling. The BBC, terrified of royal wrath, rushed out a statement expressing regret for the error. An error, as if they had accidentally called her Kim Jong-un. This is not protocol. This is a tantrum dressed up as tradition. Little Miss Can't Be Called Kate has apparently decided that the name her own parents gave her is now an insult too grave for the national broadcaster to utter without consequences. Somewhere in Kensington Palace, a press officer presumably slammed a red phone down and hissed, "They called her what? Get me the Director General, now." Within hours, the BBC folded like a cheap umbrella in a London drizzle. One can only imagine the trembling intern tasked with drafting the apology. "We are deeply sorry for referring to the princess by the name literally everyone on the planet still uses, including her own husband when he's not reading from a script. And for what? Respect. Please, this isn't respect, it's servility cosplaying as deference. The same palace that insists on this absurd rebranding from Kate Middleton to Catherine, Princess of Wales, never just Princess Catherine because heaven forbid anyone think William married a commoner, has spent years, honestly, cultivating an image of approachable, modern royalty. She waves in jeans, she bakes with the kids, she's just like us. Until, of course, someone uses the name the public has affectionately called her for 2 decades. Then the mask slips and we see the full entitled glare. How dare you use the name I marketed myself with when it suited me? Let us be crystal clear about this, because it's important. For years, the world has known her as Kate Middleton. That's the name that appeared in headlines, on magazine covers, and in the public consciousness. It's the name that millions of people recognize instantly, the one that's been spoken by news anchors and whispered in royal gossip columns for decades. Now, of course, Catherine is the formal version she now prefers in official settings, and that's perfectly fine. It's not unusual for someone to adopt a more formal name as their role changes, especially when stepping into the spotlight of royalty. We can all respect that choice in the context of her new title and responsibilities. Addressing someone by their preferred name is basic courtesy, a simple gesture of respect that most people are happy to extend, whether in a palace or at a dinner party. But to go a step further and demand that the media erase 3 decades of identity, to insist that every mention of Kate Middleton be scrubbed from the record because it no longer fits the carefully curated princess aesthetic, that's something else entirely. It's the kind of fragile, almost obsessive control freakery that would be, let's be honest, mocked mercilessly if it came from literally anyone else in the public eye. Just imagine a Hollywood star throwing a dramatic fit because a reporter dared to call her Jenny from high school instead of Jennifer, Academy Award winner. The absurdity would be headline news, and the internet would have a field day. We'd never hear the end of the collective eye-rolling, the memes, the late-night jokes, and the endless social media commentary. It would be a spectacle. Yet, when Little Miss Perfect does it, the British press doesn't just comply. They collectively curtsy, and the BBC practically whips itself in penance, eager to rewrite history at her request. The double standard is impossible to ignore. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the Duchess who is conspicuously never afforded the same obsessive protection. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. From the moment she entered the royal spotlight, Meghan has been under a level of scrutiny that borders on relentless. Every gesture, every word, every outfit is dissected and debated, often with a tone that feels more like a witch hunt than fair reporting. The contrast between how Meghan is treated and how others in the royal family are handled is impossible to ignore. If Meghan Sussex had been mistakenly called Meghan Markle during a solemn event, would the BBC have issued a heartfelt apology, as they did for Kate? Let's be honest. Such a gesture seems almost unimaginable. The double standard is glaring. Instead, the media would likely have run 16 follow-up segments, each more sensational than the last, debating whether she even deserved the Sussex title. Royal experts would crowd the airwaves, sneering that she'll always be Meghan Markle to us, as if her very identity is up for public debate. The conversation would spiral, with commentators questioning her worthiness, her motives, and even her right to exist within the royal sphere. When Meghan dares to breathe, headlines scream that she's difficult, demanding, a bully, a diva. The press seems to relish painting her as a villain, amplifying every rumour and criticism, no matter how unfounded. Even her most mundane actions are twisted into evidence of some imagined wrongdoing. Meanwhile, when Kate apparently picks up the phone, or has an aide do it for her, the entire British media apparatus snaps to attention. They start polishing the apology before the call even ends, eager to make amends for any perceived slight. The difference in response is staggering, and it speaks volumes about the underlying biases at play. Remember when Meghan closed her own car door, and it was treated as a revolutionary act of commoner rudeness? The media spun a simple, everyday gesture into a scandal, as if she had broken some sacred royal protocol. It was a moment that revealed just how eager the press is to find fault with her, no matter how trivial. In contrast, Kate could probably set the car on fire, and the Daily Mail would praise her for bringing warmth to the occasion. The coverage is so lopsided that it borders on parody, with Kate's every move celebrated and Meghan's every move condemned. One woman is wrapped in cotton wool and protected from reality. The other is thrown to the wolves and then blamed for having teeth. The media's treatment of Meghan versus Kate isn't just a difference in tone, it's a difference in the very rules of engagement. It's a stark reminder of how bias, tradition, and prejudice can shape the stories we're told, and the way we see the women at the heart of them. This is the media's hypocrisy in neon lights. The same outlets that spent years branding Meghan Sussex as an American interloper who didn't know her place now clutch pearls because someone used Kate's civilian name for 3 seconds on television. The double standard isn't subtle, it's a sledgehammer. Kate throws a quiet tantrum over a name, and the establishment trembles. Meghan asked for basic privacy during a pregnancy and was labelled ungrateful and manipulative. And let's not pretend this is about royal protocol either. Protocol is bowing or curtsying, it's walking half a step behind, it's wearing tights. Protocol is not launching a covert campaign to memory hole the name the future queen used while dating the future king for nearly 10 years. Protocol does not require the national broadcaster to grovel because a presenter used the name that appears on Kate's own Instagram likes from 2012, if we're being pedantic. This is vanity, pure and simple, enforced by an army of terrified editors who know that access to William and Kate is the golden ticket in British royal reporting. The palace's obsession with controlling Kate's image has reached, well, honestly, pathological levels. Every single photo must be pre-approved, every quote is carefully sanitized, and even the tiniest perceived slight is met with either a lawyer's letter or, a quiet word that sends newsrooms into absolute panic mode. Meanwhile, Meghan Sussex can't even sue for defamation without being painted as the aggressor. One woman is allowed to weaponize the press, the other is told to just smile and take it. The BBC's apology is frankly the perfect symbol of this cowardice. Here we have a public institution, funded by licence fee payers, debasing itself simply because it used a woman's legal maiden name on air. If that isn't the very definition of institutional grovelling, I really don't know what is. Just imagine if the same energy was applied to actual journalism, like, holding the royal family accountable for their spending, their tax arrangements, their lobbying. Instead, we get a national broadcaster saying, sorry for calling someone by the name their own mother still uses. This entire episode, honestly, just lays bare the rot at the heart of Britain's royal reporting, a courtier class that demands worship, a media that obliges, and a public told to accept that one woman's ego is more important than basic reality. Kate Middleton, who the world has watched transform over the years, became Catherine, Princess of Wales. That's her prerogative, of course, and it's a title she's earned through years of public service, charity work, and navigating the intense scrutiny that comes with royal life. She stepped into her new role with grace, and it's understandable that she might want to be addressed by her official title. But the idea that Kate Middleton is now some sort of forbidden slur, a name that must be erased from public memory and requires public penance if uttered, is the kind of entitled nonsense that really should embarrass everyone involved. It's a name the public has known for decades, and trying to rewrite history overnight is both unrealistic and unnecessary. The BBC, have some backbone. Don't let palace pressure dictate how you report the news. Palace, grow up. There are bigger issues to worry about than a name that's been in headlines for years. And Kate, if hearing your own name, the one you lived with for decades, is enough to send you into a tailspin, maybe the problem isn't the media or the public. Maybe it's time to reflect on why this bothers you so much, and whether it's really worth the fuss. Maybe, just maybe, The crown is just a little too tight. The pressure of royalty can make anyone sensitive, but it shouldn't erase your past or the name people know you by. Because while you're busy erasing Middleton, the rest of us are still allowed to see the tantrum for exactly what it is. Peak princess behavior from someone who wants to be both the people's princess and an untouchable deity. You can't have it both ways. Pick one. Pick.